Okay, hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. So, if you didn't see the last video, part one, essentially what we did was we looked at the 10 mark question, outline and explain, and the 10 mark question with the item which you can use. If you feel confident in going forward, if you did watch the video and you took all the points and you understand them all, then obviously you're ready for the next one, which is decoding the question. If you didn't watch the video or you have, I guess, any questions or concerns, it's really important that you get those addressed early on, because any kind of area that you aren't feeling too confident in may cause an issue further down the line as the 10 mark question then becomes more complicated. Okay. So, having said that, we're going to be focusing on decoding what the outline and explain 10 mark question requires you to do. When I say decoding, we're going to break down the command words in the question, the topic, and the focus. I'll explain what this means. We also need to be in a position where you can then apply it to your own question if you are using your own 10 mark question. So, what do I mean by command word, topic, and focus? Well, essentially, it's a way to look at what the question is asking you to do through the command words. So, let's start there. So, you'll see here outline and explain. So, these are our command words when it comes to the question. Every 10 mark question that doesn't have an item will ask you to outline and explain. So, what exactly does that mean? As a student, what you're going to be doing in the exam. Okay, so I think the easiest way to explain the outline part is going to be making a statement. Making a statement in that first sentence. And that statement might include a key term, it might include a sociologist, it might include a policy. Anything to get that first sentence straight off the bat, this is what you're going to be talking about. So, it's making a statement. You're essentially outlining the point that you want to talk about. If we then expand that to explain, so explain just follows on from the statement. So follows. So you might say, for example, you might want to talk about conspicuous consumption. You could make that a statement. You could outline that point straight away in your first sentence. So, for example, you can see the question is asking here, outline and explain 2 reasons why consumption may be affected by social class. You could say one reason why consumption may be affected by social class is through the point you want to make. You would then explain your point. Obviously, you have to do it twice because, as you can see here, 2 points. So let's put these down here. So outline and explain. Now, the topic and focus is a bit of a trickier one to follow, and I'm going to try my best to explain it on here, but I completely understand that sometimes one way of explaining something isn't enough, and because it's asynchronous communication, it's going to leave you looking at or listening to the screen, to the audio, and potentially wondering, not quite sure what that means. Is there another way that you can explain it? In that scenario, what I need you to do is be open with that communication. So be in touch with your sociology teachers, speak to me, whichever one you want to do. It can be in person, can be over email, over Teams, whatever. But it's about having that communication if something doesn't make sense. Okay? So the best way that I can explain this to you is we're looking at how one thing in this question affects another. And the thing that's affecting the other thing, which is terrible wording, I know, but one thing is being affected. And what we're looking for is to identify the two things. So, for the sake of this video, we're going to look at consumption, how consumption may be affected by social class. So then the question then becomes, which one is affecting the other? Well, I suppose if you really want to get technical with it, they can both affect each other. It's completely feasible. However, for the sake of simplicity in this question, what we're looking at is consumption may be affected by social class. So what that tells us is that social class is a thing that affects people's consumption habits. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Again, please let me know if it doesn't. Consumption in this question, there are differences in consumption because of social class. But the other thing to keep in mind is social class in this question could be changed for any other variable, such as gender, age, or ethnicity. There's lots of other categories that you could have put in exchange of social class, and consumption could have remained the same. Okay? So, consumption is the topic, because we are looking at consumption. That's the thing that we are trying to explain. And then the focus is on social class because we're looking at how social class affects consumption. So, in social class. But social class could have just as easily have been gender, for example. We're looking at how this concept of consumption alters depending on the social class or the focus. That's pretty much it in terms of breaking down the question. Now, if you have your own question, what I would like you to do before starting the next video in the series is I want you to apply this exercise to your own question. Okay? If you're already using this question, then the work has already been done. But you need to understand how we came to this conclusion. So either you are using this question and you completely understand it, or you're using this question and you don't understand how I came to this conclusion, then you need to do some work and understand how. And that might be with communicating with your teachers and myself, or you need to apply this exercise to your question that you've got. Okay? It might not always be so obvious, and this is just to help you with a framing strategy as to which thing is affecting the other. Okay? That's the important thing that we're trying to get across here. In the next session, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to start planning the answer by looking at potential answers. Okay? Although this question says outline and explain 2 points, we need to look at more than 2 points, and that'll become clear next time. Okay? So if, like always, if you have any questions, please, do reach out to your teacher or to myself, whoever, in person or in other Teams or Outlook, whichever one works for you. I would much rather you ask questions at this point than watch the whole series and then feel like you've missed out on a point or two. Okay? All right, we'll leave it there. I'll see you all next time.